Hello, friend. Thank you for joining me. I'm Ben. I'm a big thinker and deep feeler who is simply on a journey to live out the full expression of my heart and my soul. No big deal. Anyways, thank you for being here and sharing this space with me. If you've been following along to this point, the past couple weeks for me has been really interesting because I am shifting from being self-employed and working for myself, earning income for myself, and in this phase of figuring out what do I need to do, because I think I need to step back a little bit and switch gears, try to do something that is not my own business for the health of my long-term vision. Not because I'm giving up or I'm quitting or I'm never doing my own thing again. Couldn't be further from the truth. This is all kind of in service of what I need to do right here, right now. So if you haven't watched those videos or listened to those podcasts, go and check them out, because that'll give you a little bit of context. I will either link here below, or you can just go scroll back into those. But today, I am going to specifically be talking about how I believe I have settled on looking for a full-time job. This was a question for me, like I said, in one of the latest videos last week. And truly, none of this is staged. I talked to a friend recently, and I had talked to him. We got bi-weekly calls set up, and he just kind of was like, "Yeah, what's going on? How you feeling? What's new?" And I was telling him, I was like, it's crazy to have these regular checking calls or whatever with friends, because I feel like I am in such a different place each and every day. My energy has shifted some, or it's moved a little bit, and my mindset or my outlook, my perspective has shifted or changed on things. And so it's just a really interesting time because things are moving so quickly. I feel like if you know, and maybe you're picking up on some or any of this if you are watching these videos or listening to the podcast as I'm recording over here as well. But every day feels different. And so it's been really interesting to notice that. So I think I've settled on a full-time job. Why? Let's see, I'm actually opening up my notes over here. Because while I like to do these really flowy, I do really want to, because I sit down and think about this stuff, not to plan the video, but to just think through what's meaningful and kind of alive for me right now. So anyways, I need to jot down some notes, because otherwise I get to the end of this and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to hit on these two really important things. So first and foremost, I talked about this in the video where I'm kind of weighing these options. There's not just a simple solution to my dilemma, my situation, our situation. I'm married. There's many pieces, but the one that really sticks out is we need to be making quite a bit more money than we have been. And the easiest way to remedy that is to get a full-time job. Again, I talked in the other videos about why I struggled with that. And so the short was just I didn't think I was marketable. I'm scared to go back to a full-time job after I've had 8 years of making my own schedule. And like I said, I went into that in more detail if you want to check out those, but that's kind of the high level. But what I've come to is, at this point, we need the money. We need to meet the short-term needs. And again, as I mentioned, this is with the long-term vision in mind. I actually have to, this is why it's important to be a big thinker. If you have big aspirations in your life is because the only way that dream and that vision can stay alive and carry the integrity that I want it to is if I shift my immediate short-term future. And yes, I could potentially go balls to the wall and hustle my ass off to try to make money in my business and coaching clients and stuff like that. But that's what I've been doing for the past handful of years, and I'm fucking tired. It's just, I'm tired. I need a break from that, and I need to reserve my creative energy. All things I've touched on in prior recordings. So we need to meet these short-term needs. Jesse is also looking for a job. Similar reasons, right? Like personally, but also relationally. It's just, we're at a point where things need to shift. This friend that I was talking to the other day, he asked, why do this? Like, what is this really helping or remedying? And I told him everything that I've said now to an extent. And I also mentioned, I was like, it's not fucking fun or sexy to have a relationship, to have a marriage where you're constantly not being able to do shit because you're thinking about money, because you got to keep things tight, because let's just grow the business a little bit more. Give me a couple more months. Let's wait a few more months until things are more stable. And it's been a long time now, and that is just, it's too much. It's too much. So the full-time job can currently end that hustle culture within our marriage. Because Jessie, for any of you that don't know, Jessie started working for herself a year ago. And so, at first when it was just me working for myself, we had the stability of her job. She's been doing what she's been doing, being a social manager and community manager in that space for a decade now. And so she was getting paid pretty well for that. So we had stability there, but then with two of us working for ourselves, any and all stability went out the window. And it just, while that was super necessary for her and a very big step that was, impactful for her life and her situation, and again, for us relationally, that, the past year of that instability, she's in the new phases of her business. I'm in a transition and a growth phase of mine. So that instability and bottoming out income because of kind of like where we're both at. We both bring in money from what we do, but not to match outgoing. Or I talk about high expenses in one of the other videos too. So that's where we're at here, is like we can end this period of just pushing so hard, of feeling stretched so thin. It's just fucking exhausting. It's just draining for anybody that's ever gone through, and both of us in our childhoods experienced this as well, right? Like with our parents and our families. It was, while maybe not necessarily an explicit conversation, it was clear that money was not in abundance. There was not just, you couldn't just go and spend things. We had to be very, you got food, you got clothing. There wasn't a ton of fun and stuff outside of that. There was some things, but it was not that money was just not simply flowing or growing on trees. And that's something that we also don't, especially as we're starting to want to build a family, that's not something that we want to bring our children into either, is the stress that we've been experiencing over the past couple of years, and that we experienced in some form kind of implicitly as children. While we had good lives for sure, and our parents made sure of that, it's not something, what we've been experiencing recently isn't something that we want to pass on or have our children experience. So, full-time job can end the hustle period can allow, and I'm going to bring it back to me here, allow me to relax a bit. It's like I can feel it in my body when I'm talking. Like, I've been doing this for a long fucking time. Almost a decade of working for myself is a long time. And while I've had periods of success within that, it's never been on cruise control. It's never just felt like, okay, we can relax now. I've systematized everything, and like we're all good. Now this thing is just a well-oiled machine. And a lot of this speaks to kind of a whole different topic, which is that I've always been really good at what I do, at my craft, but I have not been the greatest business owner. Far from. Again, another story in and of itself. So I'm tired. It's been a long time, been a long, hard road. I've had health issues and stuff in that. And I mean, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I've built. I'm proud of the things that I've experienced. But now it's time to step back for a second. Because I want to, and I've used this terminology as I've been speaking about this for the past few weeks, but it's like I want to gather my energy back, my creative energy. I'm not drained. I'm a passionate motherfucker, and I'm doing lots of things. I've had my hands in lots of exciting buckets over the past year, and I'm really, really grateful for all the experiences that I've had and the things that I've been able to be a part of, and that goes further than this year, into the past handful of years. But because of that, my creative energy has been, I've been just throwing it out there all over the place. And I need to gather it up. I need to bring it back. I need to have a period of time where I can slowly gather that and really be able to lean into enjoying that creative energy. And again, not that I haven't enjoyed what I've been doing now for the past 8 years, but because of the what is the word, like the immense the body of my vision, what I'm like, the simplest way I can put it is like what I'm going to be creating. There's two sides of this, the money thing, and this is kind of transitioning into the other side of it for me. So thanks for hanging in there. The other side of this is like what I'm going to create this is big. This is like bigger than creating a coaching business, creating a personal training business, even starting a donut business with your cousin. This is like my legacy, really, is the way that I'm seeing it. And this is going to be the other video that I film here, which is I finally know who I am and the work that I can bring to the world. The reason that I am here, that thing that everybody fucking searches for, who am I, what am I here for? I know that now. And I know it sounds dramatic, and I'll go into that in the other video, but I truly, in this moment at least, I fucking feel that. And I know that, and I see it to an extent, as much as my human fucking brain can. And because that is so massive, and I know how beautiful that is, in order to do that justice and to bring that thing to life, that's going to take a lot of creative energy. I'm going to need every bit of that. I cannot have my creative energy going in every which way, every which direction, and also be worrying about my stability and safety at the same time. So with the full-time job, of course the fears from a business owner standpoint are I'm losing autonomy. I'm losing this freedom of my time and flexibility that I had before. Those are things that I value greatly. And so, yes, I am nervous about that. I am really, really gunning for a remote position. I'd say that something else is on the table right now just because like the financial needs are real and need to be met. But I am really, really, really shooting for a remote position because the flex, like I need a transition. I feel like going into an office would be really difficult for me after having the flexibility that I've had for the past 8 years. So that's kind of number one why I'm looking for a remote position is I just feel like the transition would be really abrupt otherwise. And yeah, I don't know that I'm ready for that. If I find the perfect thing or if I absolutely need to, then of course we consider it. But that isn't what I'm gunning for at the moment. The other reason is so that I can, because I do value flexibility and some autonomy at least, that would feel so good to me just because as a person, that's what I value. But then also, by the way, this is something that is like very typical to the highly sensitive person or the big thinker, deep feeler. That is very much a staple of who we are, is valuing that flexibility, being able to ebb and flow with our energy a little bit, take a little bit of a break, get back to work. We tend to be people that get things done, so that's not the problem. So yeah, just kind of wanted to note that. And then the final piece of this is then that I can still continue to build what I am going forwards. And that's because that's going to look like continuing to connect with people. I do still have a handful of coaching clients. We will see exactly what that looks like if and when I do get a full-time job. If I keep these people on, if I need to make arrangements with them, I'm not fully sure. We're truly in a limbo as soon as a job is secured. But also what I'm creating, this community and this space is going to take a lot of connection with other people because this is not just like, it is going to be a collaborative effort. It is going to be a community and a space, and I'm going to bring in lots of amazing people into this space. And so I will, like, my time and energy outside of a job will be connecting with other people that I think are awesome humans and are doing cool shit in the world. That's like essentially going to be my task outside of my full-time job. And so that'll be much easier if I have a remote position. It is not because I will not be working. I take work very seriously. I will do a good job. I will do what I'm asked of, but it'll just be easier to, you know, at lunch break, I can hammer out connecting with people on Instagram or whatever, and I'm not having to commute. You know, here it's not like Chicago was, but I'm not having to commute 30 or 40 minutes or something like that both ways. And so I gain time. I'll be able to recharge a little bit during the day. I can like go outside in the backyard with the dogs instead of if I were in an office, I'm like around people or would have to like walk around, you know, wherever I was. But managing my energy would be something that would be quite a bit more difficult or complex if I were in person somewhere. So those are the reasons that I am looking for a work from home gig. Nice that you asked. Nobody asked. I heard the question in my head. What am I looking for specifically? I'm basically, currently at least, this is still very new, but I'm going to be looking for like customer relations, client services are the two names that I've come up with. I don't even know if those are fucking things, but they feel like it. Like roles where I can still use my gifts and my skills of and genuine enjoyment of connecting with other humans in a meaningful way. I do not want to have a call center job where I'm sitting here on the phone all day dealing with pissed off customers. That will drain the shit out of me, and I will not have energy for all the aforementioned tasks. But I do and would like to be involved in something that is communicating with people, working with people to, for collaboration, to further goals, objectives. I like working as a team. I like leading people. Granted, this will still likely be an entry-level position because I haven't been doing any of these things in the field. I'm making hand gestures because I don't even know like the words for it. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm looking for, and just kind of using my detail-oriented, organized, empathetic, intuitive, observant skill set to do that and bring value to you and your team. So yeah, if you have a job for me, hit me up in the comments because I would love to know. Seriously though, seriously. That's what the job situation looks like there. The other things I wanted to say on this too were something else that a full-time job offers is, we talked about the stability piece, but it also offers structure. Structure, for me in this instance, does feel a little bit scary because I've had, a lack of structure in this sense, in that I've been able to schedule my days and my time and things like that. But what this structure can do is, I don't have to worry about that anymore, right? Like, even if I enjoy creating my schedule and managing my time, it is a thing I have to do. And so if I can step back a little bit and it's like, okay, this is like when I show up, this is like what I have to do, that is giving me a little bit of energy back, even if it's not like absolutely ideal in terms of I get to do what the hell I want. The other piece of structure is that it's going to, and because this is something that's taking up, most of my time, or will be, is that now I have to be very sharp, I have to prioritize. I have to be very intentional about what I choose to do on a daily basis with my time and energy outside of work. Again, this may sound like a negative, this may sound like a setback, but where I've gotten myself into trouble over the past decade is periods of taking on too much and doing too many things because I get excited about shit, because I'm passionate, because I want to do a lot of cool things. I want to experience many things. But that can easily backfire and not allow me to make meaningful progress on the things that I really want to, because my energy is spread too thin, because I'm trying to fill up too many buckets instead of just pouring into one. So with this, I will have to choose. I will not be able to do 5 different things. My multi-passionate self is going to have to take a chill pill and rein it in here and focus and use my time and energy towards the thing or 2 things maybe that I really want to like move the needle on. This is terrifying for me. I talked about this with Jessie recently. She, I don't know, a month or so ago, she's like, you're going to have to drop something. And I was like, but I can't. It was just this knee-jerk response. And I like felt it in my body. It was just like, no, I can't do that. So I have a very real fear, like in my body, in my system. Like it's deep rooted in there because of how I responded there, reacted. And I think what that is just if I'm not trying to do many things, if I don't have multiple irons in the fire, then I'm lessening my chances at success, at something working. Which is ironic, right? Did you laugh? Because that couldn't be further from the truth. The fact of the matter is, when you are all in on one thing, you have a far better chance of that thing being successful because you're not spreading your energy all over. So that was really interesting to notice, and something that I know I need at this point in my life. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fucking fun to me. But I know that that's what I need. I know that this is my growth edge. This is the thing or a thing that's going to be really meaningful for me, because it's going to help strengthen, I was going to say shore up, this piece of me that has been a bottleneck of sorts for myself and what I create. So that's going to be a good thing, not something that I'm necessarily excited about. I'm very interested and curious to see how I end up spending that time and energy, because unlike most, or many, I should say, maybe not most, but like many people, I haven't had to like do the whole side hustle thing. I quit a full-time job. I lived with my parents for a little bit, and then I got a job as a personal trainer, and then I did that for a little bit living with my parents, and then I moved out. So I've never had to do the whole side hustle thing. So this will be a good experience for me to learn a little bit about that. What else? I got a little bit distracted because I looked down at my notes. This is what happens. I'm like, sometimes I just want to keep going with the flow, but then I'm like, no, but I have to make sure I don't mess this thing up. Which, yeah, you can fucking psychoanalyze that all you want. So this is where we're at with the full-time job situation. The things that I'm noodling on, the reasons I'm moving towards it, the things that I am slightly concerned about. But overall, I know that this is what I need right now. And I'm open to what this could look like. I'm, fully aware that something could come in tomorrow that is a slight twist on this or whatever, but something along these lines is what is right for this moment in time. So with that, I kind of wanted to end on what this ultimately is, and I've touched on this in prior videos as well. Getting a full-time job for me right now is freedom. I'll say that again because I didn't misspeak. Getting a full-time job for me is freedom. What the hell does that mean, Ben? That doesn't make any sense. You're working for the man again. What the hell are you talking about? Connecting it back to what I said earlier, it allows me to step back. It allows me to rest in a sense. And yes, I truly mean that a full-time job will be resting relative to what I have experienced for the past 10 years in the way that I have exerted my energy. I don't expect it to be easy. I don't expect to be a pushover. I'm not going to work. I'm somebody who takes pride in what I do. But I can fucking relax for a second. I can stop trying to monetize something that is so connected to me, to my heart and my soul. It allows me to recharge. It's going to give me some space. There's a very literal freedom of this oppression of not having money and keeping a really tight budget and all those things. It's going to be really freeing to have that financial space. I can just relax into being the person that I want to be, continuing. I'm feeling so good about where this is going. The way I've been creating in the past month or so just feels so good to me, and I want to keep fucking doing it. And the only way that I can continue that is by getting a job that pays my bills and more. And therefore, getting a full-time job for me is freedom. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I fully appreciate it. I went a full half hour there, which I wasn't really expecting, but should be no surprise. I had a lot to say there about this. I have a lot to say about the other video that I'm going to be filming here as well. But yeah, comment below, reach out to me if you are going through something similar. If you agree or disagree with some of the things that I'm saying, relate it back to your situation, experiences you've had in the past, by all means, share with me your insights or things that you would suggest. Like I said, if you think, based on what you know of me, you have a fit, just in terms of a role or a position, or if you actually have somebody connect me, whatever feels good to you, whatever feeling alive for you right now, please share. I would love to hear from you. I'm continuing to go in this direction because not only do I want to create and share, but I also want to connect. I want to connect with you. I want to know your story. I want to know what you are going through. And so thank you for being here and for hanging out, and I will talk to you soon. Hit subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you later. Much love, Benjamin.